Now, our old friend, the update statement, is one of the 4 basic Transact SQL queries that you're going to run most of the time. And let's take a look at the update statement. Now, this is used to modify data that already exists in your database table. Now, let me just point out here that for insert, update, and delete, all those apply to views as well as tables. But I don't want to confuse you right now with views, so let's just leave it as tables for now. Now, there are a couple of things you need to remember about the update statement. First of all, when you do an update and you're only changing or modifying one particular column in a row, keep in mind that in the background, under the hood, the update statement is actually processed by SQL Server as a delete and then an insert. So it's going to delete the old row, reinsert all the columns that it just deleted, and it will make the change to the column that you've told it to make in the update statement. Therefore, you will see that all columns in the row are affected by the update. This means constraints are rechecked, primary keys, which is actually a constraint, is checked. Anything that is built into that table that is restricting data in any way is going to be checked. Now, this can be very, very interesting in the way that constraints were applied. If the restriction on the constraint wasn't applied to the table when the restriction was put there, it can create some interesting error messages for you. And you'll be sitting there calling your SQL Server names because you're changing the last name column, but it's throwing an error over in some other column, and it doesn't look like you're affecting that column, but you indeed are because of the way the update statement is actually handled in the background. Another thing, you should always include a where clause to limit the number of rows being updated with an update statement. And I'll show you some examples of that in the separate video entitled Using Update, where we actually get out there and type some update code samples. Let's look at the basic syntax for the update statement. Notice we're going to use the keyword update. Then we'll put the table. A lot of times this will be schema.table name. Then we say set. And we put a column name. So we're going to set a particular column name, set last name equal to, and we'll say Jones. Okay, say it used to be Smith. Smith's what was there. We're going to change it to Jones. And if we don't put a where clause, it's going to change every last name in the table to whatever we say right here. Say it's Smith. If we say where last name equals Jones and first names equals Jack, then it's going to go find that row where the last name's Jones, the first name is Jack, and it's going to set that last name or the column name here to the new value. I'll explain all that again, and we'll look at it in code a little bit later on. But keep in mind that where condition can keep you out of trouble in a lot of different ways in SQL Server. Now, if you'll look in your working files folder, you'll see documentation on update, but let me show you. Let's jump out into the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and go into help. Now, I've got my help again running locally. Yours may be running over the internet. But if you go into Books Online, I'll show you another way to search things. Go down here to the bottom, there's an index tab, and you may find this easier than using the search bar over here. But I'll go into index and I'll just type update. And I want to show you we have an update function, and this is not what we're looking for. We're looking for the update statement. And when I click that, you can see the full syntax of the update statement. We're not going to cover every one of these options. That would take us an hour or two just on the update statement, and this class would last about 3 weeks by the time we got everything covered. So we can't do that. So I'm just going to get you going on the basics, get your head around it, and then you can come back, look through these various options, look at how they're being used, look at some of the possibilities, and I'm telling you, I'm dead serious here. If you will print these documentations out, keep them in your car when you're stuck in traffic, when you're sitting in line somewhere, just read through these things a paragraph or two at a time. And one of these days, you're sitting at your desk and you need to do something. You're like, wait a minute, I read something somewhere where I can do whatever it is that you suddenly realize you need to do. And then a quick search in documentation, and you look like the smartest DBA in the office, and you may well be. Notice, and keep in mind, I don't know your other DBAs, so don't hold that one against me. They're talking about add at row count. That's a pretty interesting concept and very useful tool. But notice they're talking about data types, lots of things, but I'm going to hurry up here. And notice there's a neat hypertext table to various aspects of update. But then you get into the sample section, and you can actually cut and paste these. If you highlight them, come over here and choose copy to clipboard, and then you can go paste those into your query environment and run them. So there's a lot of stuff to learn out here. So just make sure you take advantage of that. But you really owe it to yourself to go out there and read that stuff. But if you'll look in your working files folder, I have the complete documentation on update and PDF form for you out there. And if you'll look at the video later on in the course that's entitled Using Update, you'll see code examples for working with Update. And then you can also find example code. Same stuff you see me doing here will be out there in the working files folder, so you can just copy and paste and play instead of having to type it all in. So that's the basics on the update statement. Join me in Using Update, and we'll get out there and code some of this up and let you see it.